improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time. During Audubon Gutter's 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Fletcher Mackle's with us again. Fridays with Fletch. What up, man?
Not a lot, Corey. What's up?
Same old stuff. See a little rain on the radar. Playing my Margaret Orr role. It looks like a little rain could come in. We need it, but boy, it's hot out there. Summer has arrived, Fletch.
Summer is definitely here. I went and got my first snowball of the year today, and so yeah, I was in Chicago last week. That's why I couldn't do the show. And the weather, I woke up Chicago Saturday morning to have coffee with a media friend, and it was 58 degrees and sunny.
Nice. And
she was like, do you want to go inside? It's a little cold. And I was like, hell no, because I'm going back to the sauna for the summer. We won't see 58 in New Orleans until October. So we're having coffee outside.
Nice. That's a good call. You get any good, I don't know, steak, Italian?
We did Italian. We did one of the kind of the institutions, Lou Malnati's. Like one of the famous deep dish pizza places there, which was excellent. Got the big Caesar salad, got the Chicago style deep dish. It was really good. What a
great city.
I went to Wrigley for the first time. It took me 50 years to get to Wrigley Field, but what a cathedral of sports.
Yeah, what a great place. Huh? And the neighborhood around it.
Oh, my God, Wrigleyville. Like, I mean, obviously, look, the Saints have played the Bears. I mean, look, the NFC Championship game was I was there for a week. And then the Saints have played some other primetime games, Thursday night game, Monday night game in 2014. They've played a lot of big games against the Bears through the years that I've been to Chicago for work. And I love Chicago. I've been several times, just for fun. But my trips never coincided with a Cubs game. So I've been to the White Sox Stadium a few times. But this gave me an opportunity to go to a Cubs game, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I had a buddy that lived in Chicago, and he would he'd fly 9 out of 10 times, but every now and then he would drive into New Orleans, and he'd do it in one day. He'd leave like 4 a.m. He'd be there by like 7, 8 at night. He's like about a 14-hour ride. I'm like, gosh, Chicago's so much closer than you think. And on a plane, it's less than a couple hours. But what a great city, huh, Fletch? I mean, it's like New Orleans in a lot of ways, just 10 times the size. It's kind of blue-collarish, working class, but, man, it's got everything. It's a monster.
Yeah, no, it's unbelievable. I mean, like I said, it was one of ththose things. I went professionally, not a half dozen, but probably 4 or 5 times before I went just to enjoy it. Because the funny thing is, a lot of times when the Saints were playing there, it was the NFC Championship game in January, in a primetime game in December. So I was going up there when the weather was a little bit frigid, and it's still a great city. But man, oh man, Chicago from about late April, early May until September is just one of those. I mean, look, they got a beach. Like, you can go to the beach on Lake Michigan and then walk right back into the heart of the city. I mean, it really is. It's one of those amazingly great cities.
It is. It is. The kind of well-to-do in New Orleans 100 years ago. I shouldn't even say that because they do it still today. a lot of folks would, do that gimmick. Like right now, Memorial Day, you're on the train, you're going to Chicago, and you'll come back Labor Day, that kind of gimmick. If you had the wherewithal, 9 months in New Orleans, 3 in Chicago to get away from the heat. That's a pretty good lifestyle. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, no, it's pretty nice. You're right. So,
all right, you ready to get into it, Fletch?
Yeah, let's do it.
I don't know anything about wrestling except that it's fake, and it's but it's entertaining. And to say these people aren't athletes is crazy, and they get hurt and they have injuries and all that stuff. But obviously, it's all scripted. But still, it's entertaining as hell. America loves it. I grew up with Mid-South Wrestling with Junkyard Dog and all that good stuff. I could rattle off a dozen names of the wrestlers I used to watch or the managers. What's up with this WrestleMania 42 now not coming to New Orleans? Is it like your sidekick at Channel 6 said on social media today, iShack? He was saying like, man, just selling out New Orleans because Vegas is willing to up the ante money-wise? Is that it?
Look, here's the thing. The one thing is, not a lot of details have become available. Like, everybody has been on lockdown, and a lot of us have been asking questions because it's like, what the hell is going on here with look, they just announced it. They had The Rock do a big dog and pony show. It was an awesome press conference. They've already hosted 2 WrestleManias in 2014 and 2018, and we knocked it out the park. And then all of a sudden, yesterday morning, out of nowhere, it's pulling out in New Orleans, and they're giving us kind of this JV event to make up for it, and then everybody goes on lockdown. And all the sports foundation and the people at the Superdome and the tourism people will say is, hey, in the future they're going to work with us. And I think they're stuck in a tough spot.
Yes.
Because, yes, I think that was it. I think Vegas has WrestleMania this year, and whatever they did, they greased the pockets of WWE to make sure that they're doing it back-to-back years. And some of the reports out of Vegas that I've seen is them saying, well, the infrastructure here is in place, and we can just have it here in back-to-back years, and we'll get back to New Orleans eventually. But no, WWE hasn't said much. Their people have kind of gone into the bunker and are just standing on the statements from the Sports Foundation and the Superdome and everything. So again, it's just, it's a strange situation, and it's unfortunate for New Orleans because, look, I'm not a diehard wrestling aficionado, but I certainly understand that is a worldwide event that brings hundreds of millions of dollars into our city, and to lose it stinks. And if you lose it just because Vegas gave them some kind of a better deal, I can understand the bidding process and the competitive nature of these events. Vegas, Nashville, New Orleans, Miami, cities around the world.
But New Orleans already won it. They already won it,
But that's the thing. New Orleans seemingly already won it. And now to just pull the rug out, I think a lot of the people here would like to punch back. But that being said, they probably have to stay out of the gutter and take the high road, knowing that they want to get another one sometime down the road. So even though this is my opinion now, not fact, my opinion is that no one here in the tourism community likes what WWE did. They probably think it's a little bit sleazy and slimy and self-serving for them. But because they could certainly come back here in 27, in 28, or 28 and 29, and maybe get 2, they've got to take the high road and just say, great, we'll take the smaller event and work with you all down the line in the future.
Yeah, if you think a worst case scenario, like you were insinuating, like Vegas people, paid off WWE people, hypothetically, or up the ante, whatever. And then even let's go even deeper, worst case scenario, hypothetical. They dogged New Orleans, stepped on New Orleans, and our infrastructure is better. They have problems, whatever. And they land the event. Yeah, both sides, Fletch. WWE doesn't want to say what they did. Vegas doesn't want to say what they did. And New Orleans has to bite their lip in hoping they'll get a future event. And they can't say, we got screwed, screw WWE. We'll never host any of that crap with them ever again. You just can't play that game.
I I think that's again, at some point somebody will say something, whether it's on the record, but me reading between the lines, talking to people, that's kind of where I think we are.
Yeah.
That Vegas, and again, look, maybe this is all opinion, but maybe the WWE people came back to Louisiana and said, hey, it's all worked out, and tried to leverage them, saying, but Vegas threw this crazy deal at us. Can you all do better? Basically asking for more from New Orleans, the state of Louisiana, the tourism community. And they may have said, hold on, that's out of the scope of what we just did here. We got a deal in place. And yes, I think that my read from the tourism people is they don't like this, and they would like to say something, but they can't, because they know future endeavors may be jeopardized if they go scorched earth and burn the bridge.
Right.
The bridge is broken forever, and they got to try to play nice right now with this.
Hey, the fairgrounds could be for sale potential. You think that's going to happen? I know Churchill Downs Incorporated sort of posturing for subsidies from the state because of a lack of revenue from, I guess, off-track betting or slots or something. What's your take on that? And who would be the potential buyer? The story mentioned Gail Benson. It mentioned Bernhard from the Shaw, who did the Shaw thing up in Baton Rouge. What's your take on that, Fletch?
Yeah, I don't know if Churchill's actually going to sell. I certainly think this is a strong arm tactic by them. That, look, they make money. They just, because of some of the gaming changes in the state of Louisiana, they're probably going to fall short of some of their projected margins.
Yes.
And they're a publicly traded company worth $7 billion. So they make money. I'm curious to see if they actually pull out completely of a money-making endeavor, because they're going to fall short, for what they projected for their stockholders. Would they completely punt on it and sell it or shutter it? And I don't know if they will. And I think that that's one of the things that the legislature is looking at right now. Is it's an out-of-state company that that doesn't have all their massive 6- and 7-figure jobs headquartered here. How much do we give them? How much do we compensate them when they're already making a ton of money, and a lot of that money goes out of state? So I wouldn't be surprised if something gets worked out and Churchill comes back to the table and figures it out all of a sudden. But if they do sell it, I do think it's a profitable endeavor, and somebody will buy it. I don't know about a Gail Benson. They've got a lot going on with the Saints and the Pelicans. I don't know if they want to get into the horse racing. Not to say that they haven't owned horses,
right,
but to run the whole operation is a much different kind of piece of the pie, so to say.
No doubt. Hold that thought, Fletch. Let me take a quick break.
The Woodhouse Day Spa,
talk more about that.
5 area
Fletcher,
locations:
Fridays with
New
Fletch.
Orleans,
Don't
Metairie,
move, New
Slidell,
Orleans.
Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And
You'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it.
let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
I got to admit, I like getting him on the program every Friday. I'm not going to say that again for a while. Fridays with Fletch. Fletcher Mackle's with it. Take it while you can, Fletch.
I'm taking all the praise from you. I got it.
Yeah, no, I like having you on, man. It's fun. Hey, real quick before we move on, when Churchill Downs bought the fairgrounds, I'm like, excellent. You know, they're going to come in here and make it first class. One could argue the opposite, like they just sort of kind of patching this and covering that up and slapping some paint on this. I don't think it's like a world-class, first-class facility. Not what I was anticipating with the Churchill Downs company purchase.
Yeah, and again, that's what we're talking about here is, and again, look, I'm not going to act like I'm some racing aficionado.
Me neither.
I cover it from afar. I mean, obviously, look, Saints, Tulane, Pelicans, LSU, all that is my wheelhouse. The Zurich Classic. Horse racing, I cover like Louisiana Derby once a year. I try to understand racing, but to try to act like I'm going to be the expert on the inner workings of Churchill and stuff, it's one of those things where, again,
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat. Just when you think of Churchill Downs, you think like, elite, first class.
If you go to Churchill Downs in Louisville, it is elite.
Exactly.
It is first class.
So this was going to be like a mini version of that. Like, boy, the fairgrounds is third oldest, second, what some would say, third oldest track in America. Let's give it its due. It's due. Hey, something that is in your wheelhouse, NBA, not just Pelicans, the whole league got the conference finals going on. So far, what do you it's going the way it's supposed to go?
No, not really. I mean, I'm surprised. One thing I like about the NBA now, NFL did this in the 90s, early 2000s. The NBA did it in 2011. and we're seeing the fruits of it right now, is the NBA has created a fair league. If you go back 15 years, Dallas and Miami were in the finals. And it's one of those things where it was the Lakers, it was the Bulls, it was Dallas. It was only the big market teams. And now you look at it, Minnesota, Indiana, Oklahoma City, 3 of the Final 4. That looks like the NFL. The NFL market doesn't matter. Pittsburgh, Green Bay, Indianapolis, New Orleans, they can all win Super Bowls, just like LA, New York, Dallas, and Miami can. The NBA is now a league that has parity. We're going to have the 7th straight year of no repeat champion. And so it's a fair league now that if you run your team the right way, you can win, and that's what I love. That being said, the league, in my opinion, really needs the Knicks not to do what they did the other night and choke and blow games. Because, again, while I am all for parity, I don't know if the nation will be interested in Indiana, Oklahoma City, even though they're 2 exceptional teams that have built themselves the right way with great coaching and excellent players. If it's Knicks OKC, to me, the Knicks haven't been in it since 73, having the nation's biggest market in one of the most storied franchises would be fantastic. So, but again, the whole thing hasn't worked out like I thought. I mean, look, Minnesota came into this as a 6 seed. Chris Finch is a great coach. He was the Pelicans associate head coach for a long time. But, they went through ups and downs this season. OKC has been there all along, but I really thought we would see a team maybe like the Lakers in the conference finals or the Clippers in the conference finals. I really didn't think the Wolves were going to get it together and get to OKC. And then in the East, look, Boston and Tatum's injury is horrible, and they're a really great team. I don't think anybody saw them falling apart and Tatum getting injured. And then the Cavs were so good, and then they went out so weakly in round 1 that I'm not – same thing, Indiana's a 6 seed. I don't know if anybody saw Indiana, New York in this. But, again, I like it. I just hope the finals – I hope New York wins tonight, and I hope it ends up being OKC New York.
Hey, Fletch, you're kind of old school as far as what you do with sports, but you're new school too a little bit, how you do social media and stay up on the trends like that. T-Bob Hebert is kind of pure new school. He'll go on like a podcast with one of his Baton Rouge guys, and they'll drink whiskey on the air and do a little bit of cursing. I'm not being critical of it, but it's something I don't think you or I would do, like even on a podcast. Maybe might slip out a curse word because it doesn't matter, but probably not even that, and not drinking or anything. And I swear to God, I'm not being critical of it. But I wanted to say two things. One, congratulations to T-Bob Hebert. He earned it. He's entertaining. He knows what he's talking about. He's going up to Chicago with Portnoy and Barstool Sports. Talk about that for a second. But also kind of the new school, old school. And am I kind of right on that you're like a little bit of both, and you probably wouldn't be drinking on air, on a podcast and cursing? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, we could probably spend an hour talking about the media landscape and things like that. But you're kind of right. I mean, and here's the thing. Look, I'll tell you this right now. T-Bob's a friend of mine, and I love T-Bob, and I'm happy for him. I have been a T-Bob fan since he was a player at LSU. I remember I used to interview him, and I go, dude, this guy's going to end up in media.
He used to listen to me when I was doing a show, and I'd have his dad on from Atlanta, and then I used to have him on Tuesdays with T-Bob.
He's been good to me, and we've become friends.
He's a good guy.
So I am happy for him. But you're right. And look, and here's the thing. I work for a very professional company that is to me, one of the best media companies in the world. And I am a mainstream media person. And so while I love social media and understand that social media and streaming, that is all part of my job and I embrace it, there are certain parameters that I still want a certain air of professionalism to come with it. So yes, cursing on air is not something – like in my personal life, that's fine. But cursing on air is not something that my people ever condone or that I can condone, because we understand that we are public free television over the air, and there may be people that from all walks of life that are watching that. Whereas like some of these podcasts right now, we call them new media.
And there's no FCC regulation on that.
Well, and people seek that out, and they know kind of what they're getting when they go into that.
Yes.
Whereas for us, we are still as a broadcaster that is over the air free. And our company takes that very seriously. We look at ourselves as more of a public trust, that when there's weather emergencies, breaking news emergencies, important news content, we are delivering that to the masses. And it doesn't matter what your party affiliation is, or what your race is, or what your religion is, or what your age is. So there's a different type of aspect of professionalism that comes with that than with a very hyper-specific audience that you are catering to, and them knowing what they're getting. So again, I'm all for all of it. I understand.
Me too.
Brad Pitt had the line in Moneyball, it's evolve or die.
Yes,
we are always evolving.
Change or die.
But again, I kind of embrace both. And if somebody has more success in one than the other, fine.
Yes.
I'm not someone to judge or question.
I'm not judging either. If T-Bob and those guys like come on the show, I'd go on the show while they're drinking, and I'd have a beer or something. I wouldn't get hammered. I wouldn't curse, but I'd have no problem with that. And I used to have T-Bob on the program. No, I'm glad for him, happy for him. He earned it. It's great. Perfect age, like 37. He's going to go up there and kill it. He's got great opinions, good takes. I want your take on this, especially because you're a former player, college level. You love the game. The late Pete Rose reinstated to baseball. Doesn't mean he's going into the Hall of Fame, but the gambling and more, no remorse, not contrite. My opinion, the all-time hits leader does not, I like this word, belong. Does not belong in the Baseball Hall of Fame. What's your take?
Yeah, I would differ. I would say that time heals all, and what he did, the people I don't feel, and look, I played college baseball and I like baseball. The people that I feel like, and again, people are going to disagree with me, the people who I feel like do not belong in the Baseball Hall of Fame are the admitted cheaters who obscured the record books forever. I love Barry Bonds. I love no one more than Barry Bonds. It broke my heart when he got tied up in the cheating scandal, because he was a great player before and he didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
A-Rod, Clemens, a lot of these guys who did what they did and changed the records forever. Those are the ones that it's harder for me to look the other way when guys are admitted cheaters and they skewed records forever. Pete Rose, his records are his records. Like, I get it. He broke a massive code. He gambled on his own teams and he violated rules. But now that gambling's legal, and again, not that players can gamble on the game, but societal norms have changed regarding gambling and gaming. And now he has passed away. I am actually okay, and I almost hope that for his accolades on the field as being the greatest hitter with the all-time hits record, that Pete Rose probably deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Same with Shoeless Joe Jackson now.
Well, maybe Shoeless Joe Jackson, because they say, he hit like 600 in that series. He didn't take, take the bribes or whatever, the money. But I don't know. Pete Rose just the lack of remorse, continuing to gamble before it was popular. Should have run from gambling, try to live a clean life. Instead, he just sort of stuck his nose at baseball and thought he would get in no matter what. And, he lost on that bet.
And here's the thing. It's a great debate. You are anti-Pete Rose, and I am a little bit more for Pete Rose. You may be for the other guys, and I'm anti those guys. So I still don't know if he's going to get in, but and I don't like how Pete Rose handled the situation and basically mocked Major League Baseball. I'm just
No, I'm with you. Hey, Fletch, I got to run. We're about to hit a break. You got 5 seconds. Should the Saints sign Thomas Morstead? He was cut by the Jets.
100%. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I agree too. See you soon, Fletch. Thanks. That's Fletcher Mackel joining us on a Fantasy Friday. Fridays with Fletch.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint. That's why.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Boy, that big toe is an important part of one's body. I dropped something heavy on right above my big toe, like that ball thing, the ball of your foot, basically right where the big toe starts. I don't know, must have cracked something. Barely can move my big toe up and down. Ridiculously painful to walk. coupled with the fact that I'm a crybaby, and by golly, we've got problems. Oh, boy. Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Our Humane May fundraiser is going on. It ends a week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow, May's done. May 31st, a week from tomorrow. Can you believe that? We're like almost halfway through the year already. 30 days, 35 days from halfway through the year. Anyway, time flying by. Hey, cats and dogs, kittens and puppies, they need our help. You saw that peacock that wanders around uptown? Got attacked by a dog, got saved. The peacock's going to be okay. That's where, like, the Humane Society might go in there and capture the peacock safely, bring it to some bird vet and get it treated and taken care of and re-release the bird so it's got a good life. That's what they do. They'll go to some parish where some poor hoarder person's got 30, 40 animals in their house, and some of them are dead, and some of them are about to die, and they're emaciated, and they're struggling, and they go in there and they take those 30 or 40 animals, and they bring them back to life, and they nurse them back to health, and they get them adopted out. They save animals' lives. They save animals from suffering. It's that simple. I mean, if you have pets, especially like me, I got cat, dog. I had 2 cats and 2 dogs just a little while back. You know, I'll have more animals the rest of my life. Love them. Love Mr. Tully, my Australian Shepherd. I told him today, buddy, it's Friday. Every Friday I tell him, it's Friday, buddy, you and me. Lots of time together. No work to worry about. Lots of time together. All right, I might be on the golf course a little while. But anyway, come on, buddy. No, if you love animals, go to the website, humanela.org, because every May, we try to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana, and we're way behind right now. I don't know if it's just the environment in the country, the uncertainty going on. You know, maybe you need to call California psychics where there's certainty. Oh, boy, do not call California psychics for any certainty. No, I think there is uncertainty going on, and some people are like, man, I have to watch my wallet, got to watch the dollars. Didn't have to do that so much a little while back. HumaneLA.org, $5, $10. It's the little bites where we knock it out. We've got 1 week left. May 31st, a week from tomorrow. 5 shows after today's show. That's about it. Please donate right now, humanela.org. You'll see me laying on a blanket with Blue Boy at the top of the page. Click on that, and then you can donate. And please donate generously. Our Humane May fundraiser going on right now, trying to raise $10,000 in the month of May for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Let's save some animals. 86 degrees, isolated rain. Some rain rolling in from the south, from the west a little bit. Just one little, just a little isolated patch. Might hit your neighborhood, might not. You might get a drizzle. You might get a little downpour for a little while. Might get thunder and lightning and no rain. It's that kind of, summer-ish thunder shower type gimmick that we get all the time around these parts. Memorial Day weekend. Monday, a lot of folks are going to be off. No, banks are closed. No post office delivering. I don't deliver in my neighborhood 6 days a week anymore anyway. Sometimes they deliver 6 days a week. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes I only get I think I've had only 4 days of delivery. The days of rain, sleet, snow, the post office delivers are a thing of the past. Anyway, Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy it. Remember those that gave the ultimate sacrifice, their lives for us. I remembered. I got a microphone, a camera in front of me. Free speech, First Amendment. Are you kidding me? Invaluable. Day 8, jailbreak. 5 still at large. A 4th woman arrested. It's sad. It's like a grandmother, putting the grandmother. Shame on these criminals putting grandmother in that position. Seriously. Ridiculous. But, repercussions, consequences, not really in the thought process of a lot of these folks, these hardened criminals. I-10 West, accident shutting down the I-10 twin span Slidell to New Orleans East. Can't have that. Not when we have the Isle of New Orleans. There's only so many ways out. And you can't have Highway 90 just shut down. Going into Pearlington, Mississippi through St. Tammany. Lake Catherine, you got to get through the Wrigley's. You got to be able to get all the way into Pearlington, Mississippi. And that drawbridge on the West Pearl River that shut down is unacceptable. Unacceptable. Lower the drawbridge, have the boats come south of the drawbridge, build them a mini marina that they can access. Have them go somewhere else. I mean, it's the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few. Lower the drawbridge, put the panels down, put steel support, and immediately start building a new bridge. Because 5,000 cars a day used to travel that route. And on a day like today, you'd have tens of thousands. And it would help take some stress off the Highway 11 bridge and the traffic and going I-12 to the causeway, which people had to do that had to come into the city. What's that, Blue Boy? Those little small bridges, they're fine. They're like as long as you. You're right, buddy. Highway 90 has to remain open because New Orleans is an island. Blue Boy, you're right. We can't cut off one way out or one way in. You're right. 5 o'clock powwow next, New Orleans. Corey Johnson with you. Fantasy Friday, Memorial Day weekend. Oh, yeah. HumaneLA.org. Donate.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson.
Yep.
On TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube. On radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM. WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TF-JC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TF-JC.com, your cool spots.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became number one for a reason, because we're good, and we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love. More. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Yeah, here we go. The 5 o'clock power hour on a Fantasy Friday. Doesn't get much better than that, New Orleans. The weekend is upon us, and it's an extended weekend. Keep those that died, many in combat. It's terrible. Pay the ultimate sacrifice for us, freedom, America. Memorial Day Monday. It is New Orleans. We celebrate it with the rest of America. We remember those that paid the ultimate sacrifice like the rest of America. Yeah, it is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Thanks so much for joining us. About 86 degrees out there, a little warm. Some isolated rain in parts of the metro area. Had a little rain southwest of us kind of rolling in last hour or so. Hey, our Humane May fundraiser ends next Saturday. I know some of you are like, God, he just keeps talking about this. I talk about it for about 3 minutes each show in the month of May only, because it's called Humane May. We try to raise $10,000 in the month of May, and we save animals, cats and dogs, kittens and puppies. This one's a little tougher than normal. There's something going on. We are way, way, way behind with a week left. You know, we've raised like $2,500. Got like over $7,000 to raise in 7 days. We'd normally be behind a little right now, but we'd be at like $5,000 or $6,000. And then we'd be making up the rest next week and hit the goal. Last couple of years, we hit $12,000 plus when it was all said and done. Now we're way, way, way behind, and it just feels different. There's an uncertainty out there where folks that would normally give are like, I need to hang on to that money. We're not going to go get that. We're going to go get this. That's less. Maybe just donate less, $5, $10. If you're going to donate $50, donate $20. If you're going to donate $100, donate $50. HumaneLA.org. The $5, $10, $20 donations, that's what gets us across the goal line. Just give a little bit right now. HumaneLA.org. Let's save some animals. Simple as that. Let's stop some animals that are suffering right now. Some animals that need to be rehabilitated. Let's do that. The Humane Society of Louisiana does great stuff. Go to Facebook. If you go to their Facebook page and see the photos and the little paragraph or so underneath write-up of what that photo's about, you will go to HumaneLA.org and donate right away. HumaneLA.org. Let's hit that goal by next Saturday. Day 8, jailbreak, New Orleans. 10 escaped last Friday morning, very early in the a.m. 5 still at large a week plus later. 5 still at large. Half have been arrested, rearrested, and they're at Angola. They're in super lockdown. They're not going anywhere. But 5 still at large. A 4th woman arrested. It gets sad. I mean, these are criminals, so, they're pathetic pieces of you-know-what, but luring grandma into this, like a grandmother of one of them's getting arrested for helping out the grandkid. That's what a grandmother does. It's not going to turn her back on family. They're going to justify that behavior, the criminal's family. It sucks. Lady did nothing wrong. Probably the opposite. Probably sacrificed a lot of her life for that kid and others. I know the women in my life, my God. Seriously, the male figures like my dad. Female figures, I could rattle off a list. No, it sucks all around. But those 5 criminals will be caught sooner than later. And I still think that like the last straggler or two, it's going to be like Houston, Nashville, Atlanta, Dallas, something crazy. Speaking of crazy, we live on an island, the Isle of Orleans. Might as well call it that. New Orleans is an island surrounded by water. There's only a few ways out. Going west, what do you have? Airline highway through the spillway. You've got I-10, Kenner to Laplace. That's it. River Road. Going north, you got the Causeway. Going east, you've got the Highway 11 bridge, you've got I-10, and you used to have Highway 90. And on a day like today, Highway 90 out of order for like the last 2 years. Unacceptable. On a day like today where the twin span from Slidell to New Orleans East was shut down, westbound I-10, all 3 lanes, the shoulder shut down, no traffic going across. So folks are taking Oak Harbor, they're taking Old Spanish Trail, Gauze, and beelining over to Highway 11, the Highway 11 bridge. What a nightmare. Going back all the way to I-12 and taking I-12 to Mandeville and taking the Causeway into New Orleans. No, there's only so many ways to get in and out of the city. I just rattled off the list. One of them is Highway 90. Before it was shut down, about 5,000 cars a day took it. On a day like today, when I-10 was shut down, it would have been tens of thousands. And it would have eased a little bit of the traffic. It's going to be traffic no matter what when I-10 shuts down. But at least it would have taken a little bit of stress, would have been a little quicker on Highway 11 or the Causeway to get to New Orleans. No, there's only so many ways. It's inexcusable that Highway 90 is shut down. Get the boats, shrimpers, fishermen, whatever. Get the boats south of that drawbridge. Lower the drawbridge. Get some steel panels, some steel plates. Temporarily fix it where those 5,000 cars a day can drive on it. And then immediately start building a bridge right next to it, right adjacent to it. Because we have to have Highway 90 to get out of New Orleans. It's obnoxious. It's ridiculous. It really is. We need like Textron or one of those companies out in the East, Folgers, somebody to put their foot down and be like, what the hell? We use that route, even if they don't. Got to have the emergency way out. When I-10 fell in the water from Katrina 20 years ago, you could still take Highway 90. You could still go that way out. All of that survived Katrina. it was underwater, not passable, and flood walls were closed and the like. But you can go around the levee, go around the flood wall. The water subsides, you can ride on there. I-10, the panels fell into the lake. And they used steel panels and steel bridging and bridged the gap and had these panels that were bolted down. I remember they had to shut down the lane for a little while and rebolt those panels like every month or so while the temporary bridging was being used. That's what they need to do on Highway 90. Inexcusable. Inexcusable. Hey, it is a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson with you. Hey, are you on the North Shore already? You beelining across the causeway? Trey Yen's open. You can go in there right now and enjoy dinner. You can call in a to-go order. You don't even have to leave your vehicle. Curbside delivery. They walk it right out to your car. Have a little portable credit card machine or pay with cash, however you like. Now, I'm over at Trey Yen about once a week. I take advantage of that curbside delivery about half the time. No, it's fantastic. And it's Trey Yen. It's not Chinese food. It is Chinese cuisine. You won't be disappointed. And check me out on this one. One of the best seafood restaurants in all of Metro New Orleans, obviously with the Chinese twist, but you want to go get some great seafood. You love crawfish. You love crabs and speckled trout and flounder, oysters. Trey Yen in Mandeville. So good. Love me some Trey Yen. HumaneLA.org. Please donate. Let's hit our goal. Hey, we had Fletcher Mackel on last hour. Fairgrounds could be for sale. Could Gail Benson be buying it? There was talk of maybe the Bernhard guy out of Baton Rouge that started the Shaw Group. WrestleMania 42, not coming to New Orleans. They cancel. Rumor is that Vegas just upped the ante or greased the skids, like essentially paid off, bribed, whatever you want to call it, WWE folks to, hey, don't go to New Orleans, come back to Vegas. And what can New Orleans do? Say it's unfair and bitch and complain and alienate themselves? You just have to kind of deal with it. And not like, hey, we better start bribing folks, but just have to deal with it because you want to get them. You want to get them back. UNO to the LSU system. I don't care where UNO is, but UNO needs to be maximized. UNO has under 6,000 students. 20 years ago, they had nearly 18,000. So they're at about a third of their all-time high enrollment, under 6,000. Honestly, I know a lot of you are going to roll your eyes and laugh. UNO should be closer to 60,000 students, not 6,000, 60,000. They should hire like somebody from Central or South Florida that just grew the hell out of those universities in a few short decades. It's the University of New Orleans. It should be giganticus.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here.
delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Woodhouse Day Spa with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Hey, it's the 5 o'clock powwow. We're ringing that 5 o'clock whistle. Got to do that because we like recognizing this very time of the week. A little after 5 on a Friday. That means for most of us, the work week is in the book. And for most of us, the weekend is smack dab in front of us, the entire weekend. And it's an extended Memorial Day weekend. The 5 o'clock whistle on a Friday, appropriately brought to you by Katie's in Mid-City. As New Orleans as it gets. Why aren't you at Katie's right now? The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Like Scott Craig says, more is better, more of the good things. New Orleans specialties, old school, big portions, a taste of New Orleans, a mid-city mainstay, Iberville, corner Telemachus, Katie's in Mid-City. Hey, speaking of Scott Craig and Katie's, let's go to St. Louis, Missouri. He's literally inside the Gateway Arch, overlooking the mighty Mississippi. Live from the Gateway Arch. That's not true. It's Scott Craig. The St. Louis part's true, though, huh, Scott?
Yeah, man. 61 degrees.
Wow. That's not right.
It's in the 50s at night. I slept half the night last night on the porch.
It's 86 here and humid. You can't come on the air with that crap.
There's no humidity up here. I hate to tell you guys.
It's 61, you said?
Yeah.
And that's just perfect.
It might be 63.
That is perfect.
My wife and I had an opportunity about 12 years ago to buy Steph's grandmother's house when she passed away on the hill in St. Louis.
Now, who's this? That's your wife's?
That's Stephanie, my wife.
Yep.
Her grandmother.
Her grandmother. And you guys bought the house?
No. If you've ever been to the Hill in St. Louis, it's the Italian area. And you walk around and there's restaurants and little Italian stores, bread stores, coffee shops.
Wow.
So for 110 grand, this little house on the Hill 12 years ago, we could have had a house, and her mom talked us out of it.
Wow.
Now it's worth 3 times that, but we come up here and we stay at well, our mom passed away, but we stay at her stepdad's house. And that's great. But the thought of just having a little house here on the Hill, it's gorgeous up here, man. That's
what's the weather like? What's the weather like in July and August in St. Louis?
Oh, it gets hot. It gets in the 90s, but it's only like that for a few months.
Yeah, not as long as here.
But the winters can be brutal. I was here around the first of the year, and they had a 20-year snowstorm.
Wow.
And it got really cold.
Yeah, no, that sucks. That's like what we had that time here. But boy, being in St. Louis like right now.
The storm here, the storm in New Orleans was worse.
Yeah, the 11 inches here was crazy. Hey, Denver gets 24 inches a year of rainfall, of snow. No, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. They get about as much snowfall as we get rain, about 60 inches. But their worst day ever was 24 inches. We had 11. Halfway to Denver's worst blizzard day. It's kind of crazy when you think about it that way.
Yeah, that was insane for one day.
Yeah, it was cool for one day, and it was amazing how the snow stuck around for about 3 or 4 days. It was crazy. It was like we were in the north for a little while.
It was definitely cool. It wasn't good for business, but it was definitely cool.
Oh, boy, Scott, I'm not going to get you rolled up while you're on vacation with your wife visiting wonderful St. Louis, but going into the break before, I was just rattling off some stories, and UNO to the LSU system. I don't care what system UNO's in. I just want UNO to be maximized. When there used to be almost 18,000 students 20 years ago, and now it's a third, less than 6,000. I said going into the break, it should be 60,000, not 6,000. Hire the person from Central or South Florida that grew those universities to like 70,000 students. It's the University of New Orleans. By default, we should be a national, international university, should recruit around the world, should be tens of thousands of students out on the lakefront, and it should be a huge economic engine for the city.
Brother, you and I talk about this every week. And there's no question. It should be 35,000 students. I don't know about 60, but 35,000 students would really make a difference.
No, the campus has the room to grow to that enrollment.
It does.
More than
East Campus was the only thing on East Campus is the arena.
Yep.
And in the past, LSU. And even ULL to a degree held UNO back. And LSU didn't want UNO to have a football team, didn't want UNO to grow and be a competitor.
No, it's ridiculous. I went to LSU. I'm for UNO too. It's silly. It's typical Louisiana BS, man.
I went to LSU for a year.
And you got Scott Craig went to LSU for a year and pulled in 6 full hours of credit.
Actually, it was more like 15 in 2 semesters.
That's like what you're supposed to do in one. Yeah, I used to drop to 12 hours routinely and occasionally into part-time status. It sucked.
And my dad said, the 1.8 cumulative grade point average.
Ain't cutting it.
Cumulative.
Yep.
I was on probation, and he said, "You're going to UNO." And I said, "Yeah, okay." So I came home, went to UNO, and had a ball. You know what it was like? You know what it was like growing up in New Orleans. But going to college in New Orleans back then was so much fun. It was a blast.
Now, I remember the fraternity houses on Elysian Fields and all that
Just
stuff.
one. That was Lambda Chi. We only had one fraternity house. I was a teeth. But We had, fraternity leagues. We played football, softball, basketball, and we had these leagues, and it was so much fun, man. The PKT football games were intense. We always played them in the championship every year.
I got three quick UNO stories. When Earl Long, UNO was his baby, like his brother Huey Long, LSU was his school. Earl was like, my brother did, LSU, I'm going to do UNO. And when they cut the ribbon in 59? 58, 59, they literally, and this is from as reliable sources anywhere, and I know this is 100% factually true. A state trooper was seen behind the stage, behind the little tenting area, pouring out half a Coke and then proceeding to pull out a flask and fill the Coke can up with whiskey, and then proceeded to hand that to Earl Long, who drank it during the commencement speech.
It was accepted back then.
Well, I don't know if it was accepted. It was done. That's for sure. Now,
in Louisiana, it was expected.
Yeah, expected. Yeah. Meg Farris over at Channel 4, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Farrises grew up on Frankfurt and Carlson Drive.
Yeah.
And Frankfurt was the street in Lake Terrace developed in the early to mid 50s.
Right.
The air base was still where UNO was, because UNO didn't come around to the late 50s. The reason they moved the Naval Air Station to Belle Chase is because of the advent of jet airplanes, and the runways weren't long enough at UNO.
Right.
So they abandoned that and went to Belle Chase. But Miss Farris, Meg's mom, when they built that house in 54, the blimp cables would drag down Frankfurt Street across the London Avenue Canal to the air base. The planes would fly over Frankfurt, and they were almost right over your head because they were landing on the runway right on the other side of the canal. So there was a lot of that going on when it was an air base. And finally, the last part, Scott, which you probably know about, UNO, when they opened the campus and the money was appropriated, it was for 4 buildings. And the campuses were laid out, East Campus and the West Campus. And UNO was smart. Instead of clustering the 4 buildings together, they put, I want to say Bienville Hall was maybe in one of the 4. So that was kind of on the, cornered by the London Avenue Canal and Leon C. Simon. The health and physical ed, the gym, the original gym, was on Elysian Fields in Leon C. Simon, half a mile away. And then that liberal arts building with the balconies on the outside where you had to go outside to go to the other classroom, that was triangulation. That was, way out towards the lake and towards the remnants of the old army base with the smokestack and the little roadway and the old, they had the army base there when we were kids, Scott. And then that last building, the final 4th building, is on the East Campus corner, that little pink building on Leon C. Simon and Franklin. And the point was, we don't want the legislature coming back in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years saying, hadn't grown enough, have all this land available, we're going to expropriate it for X, Y, Z. So UNO was smart. My 3 UNO stories, Scott. I'm gonna take a quick break. When we come back, you can give us some of your UNO stories and why UNO is important to you. And also, speaking of importance, Scott, I'd like to know what's happening at Katie's in Mid-City tonight and what's going down at Francesca. Yeah, Scott Craig's with us, New Orleans, on a Fantasy Friday. We're coming right back. Don't move.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamar Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Yeah, you right. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring. What an incredible company, known around the world. You want a quality job, a quality career, one of the best companies anywhere. If we had about a dozen Latrims in New Orleans, we'd be like Atlanta or Nashville. We'd be booming. Latrim.com for a full listing of positions available. Dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of jobs available. Latrim.com, Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M, Latrim.com. Hey, Scott, I'm going to shift gears from UNO to Katie's in Mid-City. What you got cooking over there tonight?
Oh, man, we did a Philly cheesesteak po' boy for lunch today, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
Now, what's that all about? What's that all about?
It's a cheesesteak on French. It's delicious, man. Except we make our own cheese sauce. We don't use Cheese Whiz.
Wow. And what's the meat? How's it different from like your roast beef po' boy?
It's super thin sliced steak. It's not roast.
Gotcha.
It's super thin sliced ribeye.
Wow.
And then we're doing our fried Thai chili rib appetizer. I'm thinking about putting that on the menu.
Are those the fried ribs?
Yeah, they're. We cut them and we season them and we fry them in a little bit of flour. It's not a lot, just enough to get them hot, and then we toss them in our own chili sauce that we make, and it's so good. It's one of the best things I've ever eaten. It's like eating at today we ate at Pappy's in St. Louis. It is the best barbecue in the country. There is no doubt about it. I've eaten at barbecue places in all the big barbecue cities, including 3 places in Kansas City last weekend, and none of them hold a candle to Pappy's.
Is the sauce different in different parts of the country? I mean, is it a mustard? It's a maroon.
You can get sauces, but you shouldn't have to have a sauce when you go to a barbecue place. They smoke theirs in this ridiculous rub, and there's like a crunch on them, and they're super tender. I mean, they have great sauces. They have like 6 sauces you can use, but you don't need sauce.
No, I hear you. It's the dry rub stuff. No, I'm with you. I hear you.
They're unbelievable. And, they make a hoodoo sauce that's delicious. But in Kansas City, everyone I had needed sauce.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something that I think is a major flaw with barbecue, in my opinion. Like, it is a major flaw. And everyone overlooks it, and they just accept it how it is. Have you ever been to a barbecue place where the sauce is hot? That's key. I mean, squirting it out of a ketchup bottle at room temperature on hot meat sucks. I don't want room temperature sauce on hot meat. It is the biggest blunder in the history of barbecue.
And like we have it at Katie's, I swear, we have the best ribs in New Orleans. We smoke them across the street and we put sauce on them, and sometimes they oversauce them. And the sauce is hot because they cook them with the sauce, but they oversauce them. And all I want is a slight thin layer of that stuff.
Yeah, all you need is the flavor.
My sauce is key.
Yep.
It's a blackberry jalapeno sauce, and it's key. And you need that little
taste.
It's delicious, man.
Yep.
But we ate at 3 places in Kansas City. One of them was inedible, and it's one of the supposed greatest barbecues in the country, and it just was not good. And we ate a couple other places that were good, but they were not Pappy's. I mean, they weren't Pappy's. So anyway, we're doing that. We're doing lamb chops over roasted red skin potatoes with chimichurri sauce. We're doing a braised short rib with a tomato demi-glace.
You can just eat that with a fork.
Oh yeah, melts in your mouth.
Wow.
With a 5-cheese mac and cheese.
Wow.
We're bringing veal back. We haven't had veal, but I'm doing pané veal over garlic mashed potatoes with sauteed mushrooms and artichokes, chokes, and a beurre blanc sauce.
Pound that veal thin.
Oh, yeah, it's super important. And then we have crawfish etouffee over fried catfish for lunch and over black and red fish for dinner to have our typical New Orleans Creole, Asian, whatever you want to call it, dish. We make a great etouffee. So I'm sure tomorrow Anitra will make crawfish bisque because we have a truckload of crawfish left over that we boiled yesterday that nobody came to eat, which I'm getting a little irritated with because we spent all the time boiling crawfish and there wasn't anybody there yesterday. So,
yeah,
guys, come eat boiled crawfish on Thursdays before I stop doing it.
Yeah, before crawfish season ends. That's the point too. Hey, go ahead.
I'm good.
Francesca, Friday night seafood?
Yeah, always. And then, man, Francesca's unbelievable. And let me tell you something. We lost one of the great New Orleanians that's being celebrated tomorrow. Jay Batt was a really good friend of mine, and he loved my restaurants. And I sent stuff. I sent some pizza and sandwiches over to his family last night from Francesca.
Wow.
And I have to bring up Jay because you said Francesca, and he was just a great New Orleanian, and he did so much for so many people, and he will be sorely missed.
Yeah.
Sorely missed.
Yep. No, I agree. I'll be there. I'll be there tomorrow for the visitation, at least.
Yeah, I wish I could be, but family understands, and Jay would understand. You know,
the Bats grew up about a block from the lake, and we grew up about 4 blocks from the lake. You know, right off Leon C. Simon. So my whole childhood was, you know, a lot of Jay and Brian Batt. Brian Batt, who was my brother, and the same class in school, we would go to Pontchartrain Beach in the winter when it was closed. I mean, I went down the log flume ride on my butt in blue jeans. We walked up to the top of the Zephyr, up that little rickety wooden thing with the pipe handle on the side.
Yeah.
You know, just crap you wouldn't do today, you know, just insane stuff. But no, the Bat family, Jay would bring me to school for a few years, you know, because we're out at the lakefront going to school like somewhere uptown or somewhere.
But right there, that was Jay. He did so much for anybody.
Yeah, all the time.
I tell the story. You know, I grew up with Scott Shea. I've been friends with Scott Shea my whole life. And I didn't meet Jay until he ran against Scott for the council seat in the 90s.
Wow.
Mid-90s. And so, you know, I had Scott sign outside, and Jay was like, "That's okay, man. That's okay. I understand. We've been close friends." Well, anyway, I think Jay won the election, or at some point he was councilman, and it was a Friday afternoon at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and I still hadn't received my permit for the Bag of Donuts to play on that Saturday night for Halloween. Still had not received my permit from the city. Typical, right? So I called Jay. He comes to my house, picks me up, brings me to City Hall when it was closed. Had a guy named Mr. Stevenson, I think it was, meet us there, sign off on the permit, hand me the permit, and he brought me back home.
Wow.
That's the kind of man Jay Bat was. That's just an example, you know. And, you know, I had lunch with him last week at Katie's.
Last week?
Yes.
Wow.
You know, he just had surgery. He was having some problems with his back and hip, and he was doing fine, you know. I mean, he just checked out in his sleep. And when I found out, I was on a train from Kansas City to St. Louis.
Wow.
And my wife was like, "What's wrong?" And I just fell apart, you know.
Yep.
He was a great New Orleanian, guys.
Yeah, too young, too. 64. That's ridiculous.
Way too young. He's a year older than me, man. We were just talking about how we were getting old.
Yeah, no, it sucks. Jay was very civic-minded. I mean, he very successful businessman. He put that aside to be a councilman. That just took money out of his pocket, time away from family and friends. But that's how he was. He was very New Orleans oriented. And just recently moved from Orleans Parish to Metairie, shut down the Joe Bank in CBD. When someone like that moves from New Orleans to Metairie, shuts down their New Orleans business and keeps the Metairie and Mandeville and Baton Rouge open, it's yelling New Orleans has major problems because this guy bled New Orleans.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad, you know, and we've got to do something to fix New Orleans.
Yep.
You know, you know, I always try to be very positive. You know me.
Yeah, well, you're in KC and St. Louis. Yeah, the jailbreak's got to be top of the news there, right?
It was on national news.
Yeah, it's pathetic. International
It was on
news.
national news.
International. Yep. Scott.
You know, and they've got tornadoes to worry about up here.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
Tornado Alley, where you're at in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, they had a big tornado last week.
Yikes. Let's end it on a positive. Get to Katie's and Francesca tonight.
Yes. Come support us, guys. The the summer is here.
Yep.
And
hit the local restaurants.
We need you, local restaurant, whether it be me or Mandina's or wherever.
Yep.
Come support us, man. We really need you. And,
no doubt.
It's going to be a tough summer for all of us, I think.
Yep. Come on, people. Scott's right. Let's make it not a tough summer for these great local restaurants. Katie's tonight in Mid-City, Francesca, and Monday, regular hours, right, Scott? Memorial Day?
Yes, absolutely.
Excellent.
I recently found out now Tracy's is checking out.
Yeah, no, the end of next week. I was just by there earlier today. Hey, Scott, I'm running up against this break, brother. Be safe in St. Louis. I'll see you when you get back.
The economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward.
You're right, Scott Craig.
For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again. Ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. At Audubon Gutters.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
An extended weekend. Memorial Day weekend. What, 90% of everyone's got Monday off? I'll be here at 4 o'clock on Monday. Yeah, you're right. Taking you home from the Gulf Coast in style. Lots of folks will be coming back from Florida, Southern Alabama, Southern Mississippi, where you're heading right now for 3 days of fun. No, don't we live in a great part of the country? I mean, you can, in 4 or 5 hours, you can be in Texas, in Houston, Monster State. A lot going on there. Go the other way down I-10, and 40 minutes, you're at the Mississippi line. In 2 hours, you're at, 2.5 hours, you're at the Florida line. Pensacola's 3 hours away. Some of the best beach and water anywhere. 3 hours, door to door. And 95% of it's interstate. I-10 to I-110. You go through Gulf Breeze, boom, you're at Pensacola Beach just like that. Tough to beat. Farther down, you got Fort Walton and Destin, that 30A area, the ritzy 30A. Just tens of billions of dollars in investment on Highway 30A east of Destin, Florida, east of Sandestin, Florida. Just crazy. All these beach communities along that road. I think it's about 18 miles, 30A, if I'm not mistaken. 18 miles long. That part of it. From, what would it be? Inlet Beach on the eastern side to, Blue Mountain Beach on the western side. And there's about a dozen beach communities in between. It's crazy. So much money. A little over congested, a little crowded. The St. Joe Company, which used to be a, paper mill company, a cutting down trees, a lumber company decades ago. Now they're a big development company in Florida. But they kind of remind me of like the North Shore's growth. Not a lot of great planning. 30A is crowded and congested. There's no like road that goes east and west in between 30A and Highway 98. There's not like a town hall, a town center. There's no culture. I mean, it could have been easy to do those things. And every time they build a beach community, it's like they clear cut. These are thick pine forests. Forests. North of 30A is like a national forest. DeSoto National Forest, I think, north of 38. They just clear cut everything, and then it's the orange clay, and then they build, and you're basically in a concrete jungle with very little shade. It's a little over the top. Could use some better planning and less congestion already. Just stacked folks just right on top of each other. I'll never forget Sean Payton's place, the old Saints coach. He was in like Alice Beach or one of those high-end communities on 30A. He had a place that was valued somewhere between like $4 and $7 million, like just an incredible, place. It had a common wall down the middle and another $4, $5, $6 million place right next door, like a common wall. Like it wasn't even a separate building connected to another person. And right across the street, more folks. And it was just like on a cobblestone street with very minimal landscaping or trees, just concrete. And about 100 yards from the Gulf and the beach, no doubt. But my God, it's like, man, I'm spending $4 or $5 million. I'm going to have some elbow room. I'm not going to reach across the kitchen window outside and someone can hand me sugar from their kitchen window that's my neighbor 8 feet away. Don't want to smell the cigar that my neighbor's smoking on the porch, Don't want to hear the music or the TV. These places are stacked right on top of each other. It's crazy, but they are loved. I mean, you see that little blue sticker on the back of people's cars that say 30A? That's what that's all about, that area past Destin. Now, I like Pensacola myself. I almost hate saying it. It's like a little secret, wink, wink. Keep going down to Destin and Fort Walton and 30A. No, Pensacola's even blowing up. Downtown Pensacola's taking off. Gulf Breeze is expensive. That's on the bay side. And then Pensacola Beach down on the water, really getting expensive now. Hell, look at Orange Beach in Alabama, the eastern shore of Mobile. That's like the North Shore of New Orleans for Mobile. It's the eastern shore. Fairhope and Daphne, all that going down to Point Clear towards Orange Beach and all that, just explosive growth. A lot of Louisiana folks, New Orleans folks investing in that area. No, and because of the growth, skyrocketing values. Now, you bought something on Highway 30A 15, 20 years ago. You bought something in Fairhope or Daphne 5 years ago. You're like, making a big pile of money flipping that investment. Hey, it is the Memorial Day weekend. Somebody listening or watching right now is going to have air conditioning problems. Probably not you, probably not me, but somebody is. Great thing about Total Maintenance, besides that it's fair and honest Lucas and the boys. They're air conditioning experts and they come immediately. That means weekday, weekend, overnight, or holiday. I remember a Sunday about 6 years ago, a Sunday, my AC went out. It happened to be Easter Sunday. Phil came and got my AC working in on a Sunday, Easter Sunday. So the Fluke, you have air conditioning needs on Monday, Memorial Day. Total Maintenance is there. Fair and honest Lucas and the boys, air conditioning experts diagnosing it right away and coming right away because your AC's not working right. In New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, if you need air conditioning help, think Total Maintenance. TM-AC.com. Day 8 of the jailbreak. 5 still at large of the 10 that initially escaped a week ago. Hopefully by this Memorial Day weekend, over the weekend, when I'm back on Monday, I'll be on Memorial Day. When I'm back on at 4 o'clock, it'll be ideally 0 still at large, but hopefully less than 5, like 1 or 2 still at large, ideally 0. But I think we're going to have a straggler or 2 for maybe a slight extended period of time, a week or 2, and then finally arrested like in Atlanta or Houston or something like that. What's that, Blue Boy? Just give you a little piece of their clothing or something. Your powerful basset hound nose will find them. I believe it, Blue Boy. You do have a powerful sense of smell. There's no doubt. You're a basset hound. That's a fact. You have the strongest sense of smells of any dog. Oh, Blue Boy. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, New Orleans. See you Memorial Day.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.